Hey everyone, welcome back. We're jumping right back into the UP PGT 2016 economics paper. This is part 12, and we're going to be tackling questions 111 all the way to 120. These questions hit on some really big economic ideas, so let's get started.
So, you know the drill. We're going to treat this like a test yourself challenge. I'll throw a question at you, you can pause and think about it, and then we'll walk through the answer and, more importantly, why it's the right answer. Ready to give your brain a little workout? Let's do this. Okay, so for our first batch of questions, we're diving into some fundamentals. We're talking about pricing, people, and production.
All right, question 111 is all about price discrimination. So when can a company get away with charging a higher price? Is it in a market where demand is less elastic, more elastic, or something else? Take a sec to think about that.
And the answer is A, less elastic. This makes total sense when you think about it, right? Less elastic just means people are going to buy the product pretty much no matter the price. They're not sensitive to price changes. So if you're a seller, that's exactly where you're going to charge more because you can.
Next up, a little trip into the economics history books. Who wrote the classic Economics of Imperfect Competition? Your options are Chamberlain, Joan Robinson, Cournot, or Straffa. Any ideas?
The correct answer is B, Joan Robinson. This book was a huge deal back in the day. It was one of the first to really tackle the messy reality of markets that aren't perfectly competitive but also aren't pure monopolies. You know, like most markets in the real world.
Okay, let's talk about Malthus. His theory is, well, it's a bit grim. The question is, according to Malthusian theory, what happens if wages suddenly increase? What's the immediate result? An increase in population, production, or something else entirely?
Yep, the answer is A, an increase in population. Malthus's whole idea was that if people get more money, they have more kids. But here's the trap he described. Population grows super fast, geometrically, like 2, 4, 8, 16, while our ability to grow food is much slower, growing arithmetically, like 2, 3, 4, 5. So any gains are quickly eaten up, literally, by the growing population.
Okay, this next one is about a formula that is, no joke, one of the cornerstones of modern macroeconomics. The idea that total demand is just the sum of consumer spending, investment, government spending, and net exports. Who came up with this foundational framework?
You probably got this one. It's the man himself, John Maynard Keynes. That famous equation, C plus I plus G plus NX, is pure Keynes. It gives us this beautiful, simple way to see all the different engines of an economy. What you and I spend, what businesses invest, what the government spends, and what we trade with the world.
All right, moving into our next section, we're going to be talking about inflation, spending, and a little bit of market strategy.
Okay, question 115. This is about a huge idea in macroeconomics, the trade-off between inflation and unemployment. The theory goes that you can't have low unemployment and low inflation at the same time. Who is the economist who first pointed this out?
And the answer is A. A.W. Phillips, which is why we call it the Phillips curve. It's pretty intuitive, actually. When everyone has a job, businesses have to pay more to attract workers, and those higher wages can lead to higher prices. That's inflation. When lots of people are looking for work, that pressure just isn't there.
We're back to Keynes for this next one. He had this thing called the psychological law of consumption. The question is, which type of economy was he mainly talking about? Capitalist, socialist, mixed, or was it meant for all of them?
The answer is C, a capitalist economy. You have to remember, Keynes was writing during the Great Depression. He was trying to figure out the wild swings he saw in capitalist economies, and his theories on consumption were a huge part of explaining how and why those booms and busts happen.
Okay, let's shift gears to market structures. Think of it like a game of chess. In which market situation do firms have to constantly think about their competitor's next move? Where are all their decisions totally interdependent?
That key word, interdependent, is your big clue. The answer is A, oligopoly. It's the only one where this is true. A monopolist has no one to play against. In perfect competition, there are too many players to even keep track of. But in an oligopoly, think Coke versus Pepsi or Apple versus Samsung, every move is a strategic one that your rival is watching and will react to.
Okay, for our last set of questions, we're taking a look at the bigger picture, global trade and finance.
This next question is about a real head-scratcher in economics known as the Leontief paradox. So, the old theory said, a country with lots of capital, like the US, should export goods that need a lot of capital to make. Makes sense, right? But what did the economist Leontief find when he actually checked the numbers?
And here's the paradox. The answer is A. Leontief found the complete opposite of what everyone expected. The U.S., this capital-rich nation, was exporting labor-intensive stuff and importing capital-intensive stuff. It was a massive shock to the system, and it made economists realize that trade is way more complicated than just counting up capital and labor.
Question 119. The Structural Adjustment Facility. It's a type of loan program for developing countries. Which organization is behind it? The IMF, ADB, WTO, or the IBRD?
The institution you're looking for is A, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. They set up this program way back in '86 to offer a lifeline in the form of very cheap loans to the poorest countries that were facing serious economic trouble and needed to make big structural changes.
All right, last question. Here's a great piece of trivia for you. The IMF has been lending money for a long time. Who was customer number 1? Which country was the very first to borrow funds from the IMF?
And the answer is B, France. Who would have guessed? So there you have it, another 10 questions down. Think about it. Which one really made you stop and think? Was it the weirdness of the Leontief paradox, the grim logic of Malthus? Whatever it was, hold that thought because we've got more coming your way in part 13. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.